So now we're going to move on to our Kutera Pro Wave Ipl. I've particularly chosen this type of light therapy for my client because she's Caucasian skin tone, so she's a skin tone 2 to 3, so it's really good. But an IPL really only goes up to a sort of skin type 3 to 4, and then we then need to move on to the Nd:YAG for our hair reduction treatment. But this particular treatment is absolutely ideal for my client. I'm going to apply some ultrasound gel to the area. Now, ultrasound gel, all it does is it allows the light to travel evenly through the skin, and it cools the skin while I'm working. So a thin layer of ultrasound gel is ideal to the area. Hair reduction treatments are suitable for anybody. So it might be that you just want less hair in that area, you want to try and remove the hair from that area, so it therefore saves you from waxing or shaving the area regularly or using creams. If you suffer a lot with ingrowing hairs, it's absolutely ideal because the laser itself will work right the way through the ingrown hairs and obviously kill that hair at the root, thus solving the problem. As you start working with the IPL or the Nd:YAG treatment, the hairs will get less and less and less in an area. So we're looking to really remove sort of 90% of the hairs in one area. What you're left with is virtually nothing. So you'll probably shave the area maybe once a year just to sort of keep the area tidy. And what we recommend is that you come back once a year for one treatment. That just helps to keep any of those hairs that weren't there at first. So if you look at your legs at any point when you haven't shaved them or waxed them, you'll find that there'll be areas of no hair growth. Now those are dormant hair follicles. Anything can start those hair starting to grow. So it could be a change in medication, a change in hormones, it could be stress levels, it could be something friction related, maybe a cast on the area, or broken something where you have to have plaster cast on it. That can also, the friction from that can make the hair grow. So with that one treatment a year, all we're doing is making sure that those dormant hair follicles don't suddenly start to grow. So it's absolutely ideal, just one treatment on the area. Normally over an area we'd look at doing 6 to 8 treatments, of course. This would then alleviate all of the hair, 90% of the hair from the area, because we're looking for as many of those active hair follicles at any one time. Every single hair on the body has a different hair cycle, so they go from an active hair, which is all attached to the root at the bottom, to a changing hair where that hair starts to grow up the hair follicle and it just gets a little bit of food, blood supply from the follicle walls, to then a resting stage where the hair actually falls out. So you have those 3 stages, and it's a continuous cycle. And as you can imagine, that cycle is continuously going, but each hair is in a different cycle. There is no point of our entire lives when we have no hair in one area because that whole area is resting. So the hairs are continuously growing. So we need to treat as many of those active hair follicles at any time. Different areas of the body have different growth cycles, so it's really important that we treat the area to try and get as many of those active follicles. So when we're looking at the underarms, we're looking at a hair growth cycle of about 6 to 8 weeks. So we'll do the first treatment, and then the second treatment we'll do 6 weeks later, and then gradually we'll start to stagger those appointments. In between you can shave the area. As you can see, my client shaved the area before she came in today. We want the light from the machine to go down and find the blood supply and the pigment in the bottom of the hair follicle. If there was any hair left on the surface, then the machine would obviously singe the hair and all the power would be on the surface of the skin, which is not what we want. We want as little result to the surface of the skin as possible. So by having no hair on the area, stretching the skin and making sure that the blood supply is away from the area because you're stretching it, then it's going to affect the skin on the surface very, very little. So it's ideal. So we're going to pass over the area just the once with the IPL. As you can see, it's quite flashy. It's a slightly pinging sensation as you work over the area. It feels a little bit like being pinged with an elastic band. It's quite an unusual sensation. but it's very, very, very quick. In between treatments, you cannot wax the area because you then start the blood supply and the new hair follicle off growing. So you can only shave the area in between treatments.
Pro Wave LX.
With all treatments, you need a consultation, you need a patch test to check suitability to make sure that you're absolutely fine to have a treatment, and we also assess how the skin is during the treatment as well as prior. As you can see, I'm stretching the skin and I'm passing the IPL over the area, and the light you can see flashing is the light of the IPL machine. Then remove the gel from the area, and we will apply an aloe vera gel to help to cool the area. In between, the client, as I say, can shave the area if they want to. That's absolutely fine, it will make no difference to the treatment whatsoever. They cannot remove the hair from the follicle. The treatment guidelines for in between or straight after the treatment are no deodorant for 24 to 48 hours, to keep the area nice and clean. So avoid tight clothing. We want to be able to release the heat from the area. We really don't want the area to feel too hot. We want the skin to cool down. So that's no exercise for 48 hours, no hot baths, no saunas or steam rooms or anything that involves heat or sweating. We want the area to cool down. And then your client will then come back for their next treatment 6 weeks later. That will be their second treatment.